You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham. ESPN released a Chiefs-specific 7-round mock draft, so if you don't like it, blame Matt Miller because he's the one who cooked this one up for ESPN. I thought we'd break it down since the Chiefs do have 12 draft picks. Speaking of which, these are the 12 draft picks. Round 1, picks 29 and 30. Round 2, 50 and 62, round 3, 94 and 103, round 4, 121 and 135, no 5th or 6th round pick, and then 2 in round 7 and 4 in round 7, I should say, in total there. So 12 picks for the Chiefs. Obviously, trading up, trading down, that stuff happens. That did not occur in this mock draft. Straight up 7-round mock draft for the Chiefs for ESPN. We'll go pick by pick here. Round 1, pick number 29, Daxton Hill, who we've talked about a lot, the defensive back out of Michigan. He's a tremendous player. Positional versatility, good athlete, has really good speed as well. I like Daxton Hill for the Chiefs. Now, it's been a common pick for Kansas City to get Daxton Hill at either pick 29 or pick 30. And I think that that makes sense because you lost Juan Thornhill. You didn't lose Juan Thornhill. You lost Tyrann Mathieu. You've got Juan Thornhill entering the last year of his rookie contract. And you lost Charvarius Ward. And Daxton Hill is a guy who could play corner, could also play safety as well. And I think he could come in here and be that guy for Kansas City. I like him as a nickel safety hybrid for the Chiefs if that ends up being the case, but we'll just have to wait and see what ends up happening. So a pick later, the Chiefs select another player. That is Christian Watson, the wide receiver out of North Dakota State, who's starting to get round 1 buzz, and I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of going Christian Watson with round 1 in pick number 30. I know he's getting that buzz. He tested really well at the NFL Combine. He's fast. He's explosive. He's 6'4", runs a sub 4.4. I get all that, but the tape is pretty spotty. It's pretty inconsistent. Doesn't track the ball that well as a deep threat should. The raw numbers are pretty interesting. I mean, almost 19 yards a catch. I like that as a big play weapon. 43 for 801 and 7 touchdowns. You know the comp I've seen for him recently? It's actually a player the Chiefs already have, and that is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, a guy who will get behind safeties and he'll hit a couple of home runs, but he'll also just drop the ball and not run a good route and, just not track the ball. I mean, there was a clip I saw recently where he completely torches a corner and a safety on a post. Actually was a good route, but he just can't find the football. It wasn't a perfect throw, but he just couldn't find it. And that's pretty telling, disappointing. I think those are skills he has to improve. I mean, think of an outfielder who just can't track the ball, right? There was always that kid on your Little League team that you stuck in the outfield and he just couldn't figure out where the ball was. He kind of does that. Like, he just can't track it down sometimes. So I would not take him in round 1. Maybe late round 2, but he's starting to get some real round 1 buzz. Todd McShay put him in round 1, his latest mock, and now Matt Miller has done that as well. So which pick do you like better for the Chiefs? Type DH for Daxton Hill, type CW for Christian Watson. Let me know in the comments. DH for Hill, CW for Watson. Which pick do you like better in round 1? Drake Jackson, the edge out of USC, is next up here, and Drake Jackson is an interesting player as well. The Chiefs, number 1, desperately need an edge rusher, so you've got that going with this pick as well. But I talked to my guy Tom Downey, and he's a little inconsistent on tape. Certainly Kansas City needs that other edge guy opposite of Frank Clark. I mean, I didn't really want to bring Frank Clark back in the first place, but they did opt to do that. But you plug in Drake Jackson, maybe he can start as a rookie. Maybe he ends up being a guy who rotates a little bit, needs to be more consistent, had 5 sacks in each of the past 2 years. You'd like that production to be a little bit better. But he's got the frameworks of a good pro, 6'4", 260. He flashed, just the play wasn't always there. He's just a little up and down. round 2 guy, right? I mean, he's got the tools to be a first-round pick. He's got the tape to be a second or third-round pick. We'll see where he ends up going in the NFL draft. If you want more Chiefs draft content, we need 30 new subscribers from this video, so be sure to hit that subscribe button for more Chiefs draft coverage. If we get like 12, then, well, that tells me you guys don't enjoy the draft stuff, so we'll try and figure something else out. So subscribe. If you want more draft videos around the Chiefs, hit that big red button, spread the word as well. Round 2, pick number 62, Phidarian Mathis, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. This is a big boy and a good pass rusher as an interior guy. 9 sacks last year, had 10.5 TFLs. I like both of those numbers. Now, the sacks were a little inflated. He played on an excellent front, where he was able to benefit and just finish some of those plays, even though he wasn't the one generating all the pressure. But even if you cut that down to 5 or 6 sacks for an interior guy, that's a good number. I think Phidarian Mathis and Chris Jones would be a pretty fun pairing on this defensive line at the defensive tackle position. If nothing else, he can come in and be a part of a rotation that includes Derek Nottie, and Kalen Saunders and Tyshaun Wharton and all these other guys. I like the value here at round 2, pick at number 62. For example, I like this pick a lot more than the Christian Watson pick in round 1. Jeremy Ruckert, the tight end out of Ohio State. Look at that catch in the photo, by the way. That's fantastic. Round 3, pick number 94. I think this is about the time you'll start to see some tight ends come off the board, late round 3. Ruckert is a guy that possesses some upside. I don't mind drafting a tight end here. I've talked about this a couple times, and a lot of you guys disagree. I think you need to start thinking about tight end long term. I know you drafted Noah Gray last year. I know you've got some other, Jody Fortson, who's recovering from the Achilles. Obviously, Travis Kelce's still going to play at a high level for a few years, but how long is that going to last? Is he going to be elite 4 years from now? Maybe he's still playing, but he's probably not going to be elite. He's 33 next year. I'm thinking you have 2, maybe 3 great years left, and then 1 to 2 good, and then he might be done after that. I mean, tight ends don't play until they're 40 typically, so we'll see what happens on that front. I think starting to figure out a contingency plan makes some sense. How many more years do you think Travis Kelce will play? How about 4 or 5? Let us know in the comments, and we will figure that out at some point down the road. I know this. He's going to play next year, and that is very, very important. Get your votes in. How many more years will Travis Kelce play? Next up is Tariq Woolen, who is an interesting player because coming out of UTSA, he told everybody, hey, I'm going to run a sub-4.2, I think he said. Well, he ran a 4.26. I mean, the guy's a freak athlete. Now, former college wide receiver, switched to corner. I'd be intrigued with switching him back with that speed if he doesn't have great coverage skills coming out of UTSA. I mean, can he be like a Devin Hester type where he's an elite special teams player? Then maybe he's a guy that you figure out what his position is down the road, but you're banking on his physical attributes. I mean, 4.26 in the 40, 42-inch vertical. You're a 1%er in those areas if you've got that combination there. So I don't know how good of a football player is. I know he's a top-tier human athlete, not just NFL athlete, but human athlete. Is round 3 a little rich? Sure, but you're betting on his physical attributes. I don't hate it. I don't mind taking a swing here at the end of round 3. Hey, let's catch the Raiders report on Rumble in followers. Mitchell Renz and I have been going back and forth. They got us by about 50 followers right now. We just crossed 1,300. I want to beat Mitch to 1,500 here on Rumble. More Chiefs news, rumors, exclusive content. Plus, cool thing about the Rumble app, which you can go find the Chiefs report at rumble.com/ChiefsTV, mobile device or on desktop. If you're on your phone, unlike YouTube, you can have it on in the background and be opening other apps. Like all the time, I'll be listening to another one of our Chat Sports videos on Rumble, and then I'm just scrolling through Twitter. I can do both at once. With YouTube, got to have YouTube Premium. Rumble.com/ChiefsTV. Go check that out and follow the Chiefs report. All right, next up is Zach Tom, the versatile offensive lineman out of Wake Forest. Round 2, pick number 121. This is an interesting player. I think he could sneak into day 2, go in the 3rd round, because he can play anywhere on the offensive line. He's played center and tackle at Wake, which means he can play guard as well. I like that quite a bit. the Chiefs are in a good spot on the O-line, and they've got some good depth. But a couple of notes. Number one, Lucas Niang's had some injuries. Zach Tom's played right tackle some. Maybe that's competition there. Or maybe he's like the perfect number 6 offensive lineman. I mean, think of Andrew Wiley, right, who's played guard and tackle for this team. He could be a better version of that. Zach Tom could be. And that's really valuable, where he's your number 6 lineman, and if your left guard gets hurt, he goes in. If your right tackle gets hurt, he goes in. If your center gets hurt, he could be your backup center. He has played everywhere on the offensive line, and he can do that in the pros, I believe, at a decent level. Jerome Ford, the running back out of Cincinnati, round 4, pick number 135. And let me first say, do not be surprised if the Chiefs spend at least somewhat of a decent pick on a running back. Round 4 is not nothing. Like, I could see them spending a third or a fourth on a running back for a couple of reasons. Now, we talked about Jerome Ford real quickly. First, the production last year was off the chain. 19 touchdowns, over 1,300 yards rushing, over 6 yards per carry. He's a good player. In round 4, good value for one of the better running backs in this class. But the reason I don't think you should be shocked if Kansas City drafts a running back, number one, Darrell Williams and Jarrett McKinnon have not re-signed. I don't know where they're going to end up in free agency. And number two, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think we're starting to see the tea leaves. Chiefs aren't that high on him at this point. They signed Ronald Jones, who I think could push for a starting job. Don't be shocked if they draft another back to take carries. You got Derek Gore back, but he was an exclusive rights free agent for a reason. I want to know, are you done with Clyde Edwards-Helaire? CEH, you done with him? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm not done with him, but I wouldn't just hand him the starting job. I think he's got to prove it in training camp. All right, we'll sprint through the 7th round picks, 4 of them here. Jack Jones, the cornerback out of Arizona State. Some versatility, would have to earn his way on special teams. Smoke Monday, one of the best names in this draft. I'm actually surprised he fell to round 7 in this mock because I think he could go 5th or 6th. Tyshaun James, the wide receiver out of Central Connecticut. Big body. Could be a project type for Brett Veach. And then Jalen Wydermyer, who is an intriguing prospect because he's got okay tape and he put up good numbers at A&M. He's one of the worst tested athletes at the position of tight end since they started testing. He ran a worse than a 5-flat 40. None of the agility drills are good. I mean, he was awful. He's not a good athlete at all. But, the tape is decent and the production was there. Round 7, you could do worse than that in round 7. So grade ESPN's Chiefs mock draft, ABCDRF. Some good, some bad. I don't like getting Christian Watson in round 1. I'd rather go elsewhere. C+, I think premium pick on Watson is too rich, at least a round 1 premium pick. Let us know. Drop a grade down in the comments section.